Hello, this is my guide to normal mode Subterranean Animism. I am making this guide because I've seen a lot of new players really struggling with this normal 1cc in particular, together with the UFO 1cc. And I don't think people should struggle that much on this 1cc because I don't think it's actually that difficult. But it just requires a lot of either just going guerrilla, just credit feeding and just putting in a lot of time, or you can just route a bit of stuff and then it becomes a pretty easy 1cc. So I hope I can help you or someone else with this guide at least. So I have a replay here, normal run. I play as ReimuA. I think she's the best choice of shot type for this 1cc. You can also do ReimuC. ReimuC is really good as well. I know some people who really love ReimuC. Her bomb is really strong. She's a good pick. Her shot's just a bit hard to get used to, and her special ability of going very fast isn't very useful, but she's a fun shot. Marissa A, pretty strong shot type, has a lot of bombs, which is very useful, but she has the big Marissa hitbox, and also her shot works in a way that you have to unfocus to deal the highest amount of damage, which I don't think is very beginner friendly, but it's also a very fun shot. I recommend you just try out all these shots for yourself. Marissa B is the most fun shot in this game. She's the coolest by far. She has these 5 shots that you can switch between, but to use her effectively you need a lot of routing and a lot of skill. So also definitely try her out. She's really cool. Just see which shot you like most. I think just a simple ReimuA is gonna get you the furthest. She's just a straightforward shot type. Her abilities that she can wrap around the screen, we call it gapping. You can gap around the screen by just pressing, letting loose of Shift, Z and X, or whatever your shooting and focusing buttons are on controller, and then just tapping a movement key in the direction of the edge of the screen twice. It will loop you around the screen. And then ReimuB B, she's really bad, please don't play her. Marissa C, same thing, these are really bad shot types. Don't recommend you use them. You are really cool if you use them to clear your first 1cc though, it makes you a legend. Yeah, so some things that you need to know for this. I expect you just know the basic Touhou mechanics, but POCing and just capping, whatever, all the terms. But the one thing that you have to know, in SA, boss movement is not completely random. You can manipulate the way bosses move in a very simple way. If you are to the left of the boss and the boss is going to move, the boss will also move left. The amount of vertical movement is completely random, but she will move in your direction at least. So that's good. So that's a good thing to keep in mind. You can manipulate the way bosses move, which also helps for damaging the bosses. Pretty great. Okay, let's just jump in. The stage 1 is pretty simple. There's really nothing scary in this stage. You just want to collect some power. The red fairies drop the power in this stage. Pretty simple. Kill the big rock. One thing that's important to know about SA is the bombs are tied to your power. So it's just like in MOF, but in MOF you had an extra level of power. You could get to 5 power for an extra bomb. You don't have that in SA. So power can quickly become a problem. Here we have Kisame. She's pretty simple. But I think that with this guide, or any other 1cc, if you just know what you're doing, you should get more than enough resources to clear this game. You'll be overprepared. So yeah, in this game bombing is very important. Sometimes you will really want to bomb certain stuff. You will want to plant bombs there, because some sections are just way harder than others. This game has some pretty tough sections for normal mode. And since getting on low power can quickly become a train wreck, because you will lose power, so then you will be well, it will be harder to capture stuff because you're on less power, so you have to bomb more, then you get even less power, and then you'll reach like 0 power and then just die at some point. Also, I took this stage, I did it very safely. You can just kinda slowly stream around the bottom of the screen and use your gapping. I kinda demonstrated it there to wrap around the screen easily and just kinda cheese the stage. You don't really have to do anything except for just streaming. ReimuA is not really a problem. Her spells don't really pose any threat at all. Yeah, what more is there to say? I think I've said everything I wanted to say. No, it's just... yeah, that's about it. Oh yeah, the way lives work in this game is also very important. If you you get a life piece from if you capture a pattern. No, not even if you capture a pattern. If you don't die to a pattern from a boss, you get a life piece from that pattern. Here, like to just stand still at start stage 2. And you need 4 life pieces to make a life. Or was it 5? I'm actually... it might be 5. Oh well, if you do well in the early game, just don't die to stuff and just bomb or survive it. You will get pretty far. You will get a lot of lives. I think you can get like 12 or something. I like to kind of speed kill these guys. It's not necessary. For these early stages, you don't need to follow my routes completely. They're not really hard. This is interesting though. You can just sit here. And you have to do 1 tap because this is all aimed, and then you dodge all of it. On this spell, her Parsi has a hitbox at the beginning, but she loses it at some point. So you can just move up, stay under and move up, and then just kill her here. It's really important to know that she does have a hitbox at the beginning of the spell, so you don't bump into her. I did it a few times. This is just some simple streaming. Here you have some more streaming with a bit of random stuff. In this last section, you can get quite close to the wall, and then you can use a get really close. You can use a gap like that to just get to the other side. All right, Parsi. This is also not a very hard stage 2 boss for normal mode. This is almost the same every time, and not very difficult. Here, I like to do 1 misdirect. I kind of messed it up there. I like to do 1 misdirect for the first bubble, and then you'll have to micro in between these flower lanes. Generally not very hard, can be kind of spooky, and this is a troublesome life piece. That life piece can be kind of hard to get sometimes. Well, non-spell 2 is nothing special, and on this spell you only want to shoot the Parsi, which is shooting the tiny pellets, and they will change sides sometimes. So make sure you don't shoot the one with the bubbles, because it will become very violent. And everything in that spell is aimed, by the way. On this spell, she fires these rows that you can misdirect. I also messed up that one in this replay, but it's not a big deal. You can just misdirect these to the sides whenever you hear the weird sound, and then just get back to damaging her. Should be no problem. At the beginning of stage 3, it's just a bit of simple streaming. There's not really anything going on here, it's just streaming. I like to do pretty close to the bullets to get some graze, even though it's completely useless for survival in this game. Okay, so this stage section can be a bit tricky actually, but as long as you don't do any like weird stuff, it should be fine. I like to kind of speed kill most of this stuff, because I know where it all spawns. It's definitely not necessary. Just make sure you kind of stream these blue bullets. And here I showcase these lasers are always the same. You just take that gap, and here I showcase the manipulating the boss movement. I manipulate her so she moves to the left twice here, so I can easily finish her off here and deal a lot of damage. This spell is also static, it's always the same. Just, I like to misdirect her a bit to the right and then just dodge these arrowheads here. You can bomb this, it's fine. And then you pick up this life piece. I forgot to do that. I was kinda tired while playing this. So this is not very clean. But you start at the left here and you stream to the middle. Everything that Yugi fires is aimed around you. So if you stand still, Yugi doesn't hit you, but the lasers still can. They're random. That's a good thing to know, so don't go flailing around the screen, because that will make Yugi's shots harder. You can bomb this section, by the way. It gives you a lot of power back. Don't feel afraid to bomb that. This non-spell is not very hard. It's also almost completely static, so just hop on TH Prac. I'll link that in the description, by the way. TH Prac, great practice tool. I recommend you practice some stuff in TH Prac. It will make this 1cc a breeze. This spell is super easy, except for Terragat in the Touhou World Cup in 2022. And here, this is almost the same as the mid-non spell. Pick the same gap, just stand there, then you get back under Yugi. This spell is quite tricky for normal mode dodging standards. These bullets are weird, they are fast. Don't feel afraid to bomb here. Try to deal a lot of damage, don't let yourself get pushed out of the middle too much. What I do in this spell, I start in the middle. Once again, I go to the left. I kind of stay there and dodge stuff until I can go back to the middle to finish her off. Also quite a tricky non-spell. Don't feel afraid to bomb there too. This spell, you have to get inside the white circle in time. The only real hard thing in this spell is dodging the dark blue wave. After that it gets quite trivial. And yeah, that's stage 3. There's not much like hard stuff until stage 4 in this game if you know what you're doing. In this stage it kind of kicks up the difficulty a lot. You can just stand still here, you can also kill them, doesn't really matter. Okay, you can't kill Orin here, she's just hopping around. And most of this stuff is aimed. It works kind of weirdly, it's fakely aimed sometimes. What I do, I like to just kind of stream it and then look out if there's anything weird coming in my way, and then just move away if I can't stream anymore. For this section I like to kill the big fairies that come from the right. All these blue amulets are aimed at you once again. Well, the middle of these fans of blue amulets are aimed at you. The only random thing here is the Mentos. For these lasers, this transition can be a bit wacky if the Mentos get in your way, so you can bomb that. So a good thing about... No, this is more important. For this spell, ignore those yin-yangs. You want to stay in the middle, deal damage to Orin. You don't even have to do anything about spirits. You'll deal so much damage to this shot, you can do it with this. A different way to do this if you're at low power, like a 2 or something. You won't be able to pull off the speed kill like I just did. So what you do instead, you try to kill as much of these spirits as possible and misdirect all this stuff to the side. You can get back to the middle, dodge this again, and this time you will kill it. With the life piece here, these are just aimed. They come from the left, right, left, right, left, right. And here, there's gonna be like these big purple fairies. They also aim like the blue ones. Not the green ones. This section is quite tricky. I like to speed kill some of those big ones, if you might have seen. It's not important, but I like to do it to make it easier. Bit of damage control. Now we're gonna be streaming these Mentos through these green lanes. This can be a bit difficult, but these green amulets are static actually, so you can practice this too. After all, you have to restream, and then I like to end it in the middle, because these lasers. Fun fact, you can sit in the bottom right corner here too, or the bottom left corner. And then this is aimed stuff again, so you can just kind of sidestep it. The stuff that comes after is kind of like these big clouds of purple bullets. Do look out that you don't bump into some stuff. And then you just bomb this fairy, because this fairy drops 1 power. Don't do this weird dodge I did there, that was ugly. Just bomb this one. And yeah, that's the stage 4 stage section. Quite hard, but you can bomb in a lot of places and get a lot of power back. So don't feel afraid to bomb. You don't have to like get a perfect route for just a normal 1cc. This non-spell is really easy as ReimuA. Get out of the middle. I like to go between these for no reason. And it already dies. There are a lot of methods for this spell. It's not very difficult. I like to do it like this, so I stay away from the bubbles. You can also go like the other way. It's fine. This spell is not really a threat. Just make sure you look out for the lasers and the bubbles. This non-spell dies very quickly. Just do what I did there on the first wave. And this spell is really hard for no reason. This spell does not feel like a normal mode spell. Don't try to capture this. As soon as you see anything that you don't like on this spell, bomb it. It's... yeah, ugh, that was ugly. That was not a dodge you want to do on normal mode. This spell sucks. This one is really hard for normal mode. This one too. This one is also quite hard for normal mode standards. These two spells, like after each other, are kind of a hard gauntlet. These Satori spells are quite infamous for like completely train wrecking 1cc runs. So make sure you're like ready to bomb at any time here, and focus on dealing damage to this stuff. You don't want it to live too long. You're gonna die here probably a few times. Don't let it discourage you. This spell is static, Boab, very iconic pattern. I love this spell, but it's quite hard if you haven't practiced it because these are very fast. Luckily it's static, so you can just practice it. This one has a lot of health. So if you don't know what you're doing on this spell, it's gonna take a lot of your bombs, a lot of your health, like a lot of your lives I mean. So really try to practice a bit of Satori because she can really kill runs off. And now it's time for the hardest stage in the game. Stage 5. Just let these explode, doesn't matter. These red ones drop power actually, so if you're not on... I'm on full power here, but just to demonstrate, if you're not on full power, you can just kind of shoot these to get power from them. Really nice. Yeah, and here, get to the left and try to kill this one. There's gonna spawn one in the middle here too, and then one on the right. You want to kill these yin-yangs, because they can clump up very quickly and make this very dense. It's also fine to bomb here. I'm doing a very nice job on damage control here. They barely give them a chance to shoot, but if you don't, this can get quite messy. The red stuff is aimed and the Mentos are just like... same... I don't know how the Mentos work. You don't have to do anything in this section. But if you're not on full power, you can shoot here and get a bit of power from the spirits that are there. But don't keep shooting, it makes it really hard. Be careful there. This is also a difficult part. You're not gonna kill this non-spell immediately. See, I stopped shooting here. That's because after this non-spell, which is a bit tricky by the way, after this non-spell there's a... well, after this mid-boss there is a part which is really hard and you want to skip a lot of that. So if you just time this out, kill it here. If you just time this out down a bit, you will get to skip a lot of the hard part. It's not necessary for 1cc, you can just kill it if you don't like timing it out. And then just bomb the hard part. The second non, by the way, is quite tricky, and this is a very hard spell, Catwalk. Don't try to capture this, except if you really see like an easy way to dodge it. This spell's hard for normal mode standards, I recommend bombing this. Luckily ReimuA can kill it fast, and this is the section you want to skip a lot of. So here you want to be at the left. This section is also really difficult, this streaming section. I'm not very good at it. The way I do it is just by like gapping to the other side. I recommend bombing this section, you get a lot of power from this section. So there's no reason to do this. This is too scary. Just bomb this section and be done with it. It's very ugly. Yeah, that was also... ugh. I don't like this section. This is the same at the beginning. You can just stand still here, very nice. Okay. And I repeat at the beginning. Once again, shoot these red spirits if you don't have full power. If you do, there's no reason to. But once again, for demonstrative purposes, I'm shooting anyways. Okay, so this is pretty tricky. I'm gonna slow this down a bit. What you do here, before you start Orin, wow, this is going fast already. You can see that she has this circle here. she's sticking up her arm. You want to position yourself on like the skull that she's holding. You can then stand and shoot. And you do this, she fires these 2 waves. She does that twice. And right here you have to move out of it. Then she will move and you get back on the safe spot. She will fire 1 more wave like this, and then done. You go off again, she moves down. That was kind of weird, she shouldn't be shooting there. You get back on the arm. There you capture it. Then for the next spell, get under her, shoot her a bit until the fairies get close to you. Then she'll start shooting. You want to position yourself at the top and misdirect them a bit to the top right, like this. And after that you just go to the bottom and finish her off. This can still be hard. I think I got quite tricky RNG here. There's no shame in bombing this one too. This one is quite difficult. Then for this second non-spell, you sit here, you just go a bit down and then quickly go up again. This one needs... I really recommend some Orin practice. Practicing this fight is probably the most important thing you can do for an SA 1cc. Because she generally takes the most lives from people. Because you might have been seeing that I'm doing a lot of safe strats on her. This spell's quite easy, by the way. Just do what I do. I've been using a lot of like safe spots and weird cheese strats on this fight, and that's because she is quite tricky at the bottom. Like just by doing the spell normally, like Zun intended. She's very hard. This non-spell, it's like the same pattern but rotated in different ways. You can get used to it and kind of dodge it. It's pretty tricky. Bombing here is fine. You can bomb everything if you, like, well, not everything, but if you don't feel confident in something, always bomb it. Oh yeah, here on this spell, it's very dense. On Needle Mountain, all these fairy rings, or spirit rings, they are aimed at you. So when you hear that sound, like that weird splashy sound, it means they are firing out and they're aiming at you. So make sure you're not staying in the same place and kind of misdirecting them. Oh, I need to explain this spell. Okay, I failed to explain how to do this spell in the live recording, so I'm gonna tell you now. The way this works, you start at the bottom. When the fairies begin to move, you move here. When they shoot, you move to the top right, slowly go to the left, make your way down, and then you kill Orin. That's all, it's like 4 steps. And it makes it really easy. Stage 6, very easy. Starts with like a, well, not, it's not an easy stage, but the stage section is not very hard. A bit of streaming. And now this part's tricky. Kill all of the crows that come from the left of the screen and then you can just gap to the other side. And now we're back for more streaming. There's gonna be trains of spirits coming from both sides and also from the top of the screen. You want to make sure you kill all the spirits coming from the top of the screen. Also you can use gapping here to make this really easy. You want to kill all the spirits coming from the top of the screen, because if they get low it messes you up and you die. So make sure they don't reach the bottom. That's all there is to it. It's a long easy section for ReimuA. Other shots have it worse here because they can gap. Very nice. Okay, Orin is back to ruin your life with a luckily pretty easy mid spell. For Reimu at least. Because you can just be focused and just move left and right and left and right and left and right and keep doing this until she's dead. It gets faster, so make sure you like know what you're doing. Make sure you're moving in the right rhythm. You should go down pretty quickly as Reimu. Now you do the same thing as in the other section. Kill the ones that come from the left and go to the right. And here you have some random Mentos coming from the top. You can just kind of dodge through them. And this is the same pattern as Satori's final. It's Boap again. So if you know how to do that, you know how to do this. But you can actually just bomb these fairies. Because they drop 1 power. There's no reason to do them. So just bomb these. Except if you're not at full power, you can try to kill them. And if you're at full power, just bomb these fairies. And now it's time for Touhou, my favorite final boss. I love this final boss. This first non-spell is, well, kind of filler. Just these rows, very easy to predict. And this is a very hard spell for normal mode. I like to kind of misdirect this here. These suns are aimed. The blue spam is really hard for normal mode and it's very random. Please make sure to bomb anything that's hard on this spell. This spell is tricky. This spell is evil for normal mode standards. UNR. Oh no, it's just called nuclear fusion on normal mode. But yeah, this spell is very hard for normal mode. If you're like, wow, this is so hard, why can't I do this? Don't worry, this spell is soon messing up difficulty. You can do a funny strat on this non-spell. Oh, what was I doing there? You can do a funny strat on this non-spell. You start at the left and you go up like I did there, go up again. And then you don't have to dodge at the bottom and you just stream this. Go to the right. Get another big gap. Why did I dodge there? What am I doing? Then you go up here. Just the same thing, but just mirrored this time. Get back to the middle. And stream to the left this time, and you can repeat this until she's dead. Very nice strat. You can also do it at the bottom. It's not too hard, but it gets quite dense and scary. And if you bomb it, it just dies because it doesn't have a lot of health. Another really hard spell for normal mode standards. I don't know what Zun was doing with these first two spells, but they are way too hard for normal mode, I think. But yeah, these spells, once again, same thing, just bomb this, it's a random spam, really read ahead well. If you die here on the last spell, really don't worry. This non-spell is just, you find where they intersect and you get under there, so you can just kind of stay at this height and it will generally be fine. Not very hard. This spell is something interesting. I'm gonna slow this down a bit. Whoa, that's trippy when you slow that down. Holy shit. These suns have hitboxes that don't like reach the edge of their sprite, so you can kinda get in the edge of them. And if you do that, with the sun that goes above you and the sun that goes below you, you actually have a vertical safe spot. If you don't move vertically, you can't get hit by the suns if you stand here. So then you can just only focus on horizontal movement and just completely focus on dodging the yellow stuff instead, which makes it a very easy spell. Here you'll want to stay in the middle, just dodge, turn on. And then first you stream this to the left. Wow, I got close to that bullet. I was sleeping while playing. Okay, so and then you stay in the middle again, and this time you go to the right. Once again repeat until she's dead. And this spell is also pretty tricky. Oh, I did a sun spin apparently. You can spin it around that sun, don't do that in your run if you want to win. This is a very tight dodging spell. This looks really scary. It takes a lot of getting used to. You're probably gonna lose some resources here, gonna have to bomb, gonna die or something, because it's not easy for normal mode until you get used to it. Try to dodge a bit to the side, I don't like dodging in the middle. Unsel will follow you a lot, so don't really worry about dealing damage. Just focus, and then it's time for the final spell. I didn't pick up the life piece here. Ah well. On this final spell, you will want... Well, how it works, you get pulled into the middle of the screen. And these bullets come in the same pattern always from the bottom. And she will shoot out these white pellets, which are random and can be quite tricky. But you then have to dodge. The way you want to dodge those white pellets is just by letting the gravity pull you through them. You don't dodge up, you only move down. You only move down this spell. Because you will get pulled by the gravity so hard that it won't matter. Try to get used to the way these red bullets spawn and make sure you read ahead for these white pellets. People really often throw their runs on this spell because it's very like nerve-wracking and pretty difficult. A little celebratory dance there. But yeah, that's all there is to it. It is quite a lot at first. A lot. But I think it's manageable. You don't have to memorize everything for a 1cc because you get so many bombs and lives. As long as you have like a general idea of what you're doing, I think you can get pretty far with this information. So yeah, that's all there is to it. That's my guide to SA Normal. If there's anything you think I missed, something I should have said, something I did wrong, something I did good, feel free to leave compliments. Leave it all in the comments below. And I wish you good luck with Subterranean Animism. It's my favorite game in the series. And yeah, have fun.